virtues of internet recruitment and the benefits Seek can bring to their businesses.
Hi Tom, Dan Higgins from Seek. How are you today?
Good, thanks, Dan. How you doing?
Oh, very, very well, thanks.
What's the key message that you give when you contact somebody?
Better results. They're immediate results, it's low cost, it's interactive, 24/7, and most importantly, the candidate community, job seekers, are online.
So we finally cornered the three faces behind the website in the one room. Whose inspiration was Seek.com in the first place?
Mine. Maybe like Paul was a crap idea.
I had the idea at an auction one day, and we started putting together a business plan, and it was around the idea of real estate, looking for a house on the internet. And over time, we became convinced that looking for a job on the internet rather than looking for a house on the internet was a better way to go.
Well, like you say, everybody has ideas, but how did you get your idea from there in 1997 to now?
Well, I think, once we spent a lot of work and a lot of time putting together a business plan, I guess then we just got started. And the three of us started the business in November 97 and focused on the things that we needed to do. We needed to build a site. We needed to put together a sales force. We needed to put together some alliances and relationships. We needed to build a team.
I just wanted to see if you're aware of seek.com.au and how we can help you further advertise that role on the internet.
Did you ever have the feeling you were selling thin air?
Absolutely. There was a few times in the early days where we'd walk into a prospective client and you talked to them about the internet, and then you'd suddenly realise there wasn't even a computer on their desk. So you really were selling aspirations of the future and how we might be able to help them in the future.
Of course, newspapers were absolutely indomitable in those days, weren't they?
Exactly. The challenge was, what can we offer that's different to the newspapers who are really online? So that was the big thing we needed to get our head around in terms of actually doing this.
And contrary to popular belief, we weren't the first to come to market. In fact, we were one of the latest entrants. We were probably we were independent. We were the first to really focus and fuel our marketing. We were the first to do the online alliances and partnerships with the major websites to gain traffic from those. We were the first to get very proactive with a sales force and building that up, but we weren't the first to the market by any shot.
Now, what was the query on this on your own?
I just wanted to know how many ads that I had remaining that I could post for the month.
And there were about 9 of us in total. I started, I think it was March the 1st, 2 weeks before we had the website. So I spent a lot of my time testing in those first 2 weeks.
And how big has the organisation grown since then?
It's huge. There are about 160 people now, I think.
And what did you know collectively about recruiting?
Nothing, which was exactly what we knew about the internet. It was what we knew about technology and all. So we didn't know anything about recruiting. We didn't know anything about really the internet or running a business. So we had three areas inexperienced.
If we knew too much, we would have never started it. I mean, I think it's pretty conventional wisdom in business that if you know too much about an industry, you don't in fact do anything in terms of going forward. So it was the ignorance that probably, the optimism that we had that probably propelled us.
And we didn't worry about anything else. It was just get as many jobs as we could, get as many job seekers as we can, and that was all we focused on without worrying about other things, without trying to defend our newspaper business in the case of the newspaper publishers. In the case of Monster, they had a very different strategy. They were off buying recruitment firms left, right and centre, whilst we were actually trying to work with the recruitment industry rather than trying to compete with it.
Some of the best moments we had were when the three execs, Paul, Matt and Andrew, would come out in the afternoon and decide that it was time for a bit of play. So we'd get out the football and kick that around the office.
Let's test your memories. Do you remember the .com crash?
Oh, we have a fairly good memory of that. When we started the business, there was a lot of scepticism, as you can imagine. Then the next 12 months or so, everyone's saying how smart you are and you guys are geniuses and you're visionaries and this and that. That was really when the boom was at its peak. And then the whole thing crashed through April 2000, and probably for the next couple of years or so, you're a complete and utter idiot. What are you doing? You're crazy. Scale down the business, sack everyone, just basically get it down to the lowest common denominator. And then, once you get through that period, you become a survivor.
They were very entertaining and very energetic, and still are, mind you. It's just the football doesn't come out so often now. There are just a few too many people and heads in the way.
So there they are, 2 different companies and at least 2 very successful ideas. Let's put them together after the